when she was going to take out the bathtub. Because she said, who has time to take baths, right? And I was like, so what I just heard is you don't have time for self-care.
Ooh, wow.
Right. When you say, I was going to use the example of I don't have time to work out. But I when she said that, that made it, that hit the target. That hit the mark. Because you don't have time for self-care. If you don't have time for an intentional care of yourself, exercising, making good food choices, taking the time to rehab your body. If just being honest, Ron, I said something today for the first time. Uh, I'm closer to 50 than I am to 40. So I remember my grandmother used to say that all the time. Like, you always hear the old people say that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm closer to this than I am to this, right? But this is a fact. And how do I know it? Because I did. I had to go and help my daughter and my grandson. And, so I've been traveling. So I'm driving in the car for hours, sleeping on an air mattress, all
Mm.
this stuff. Ron, I am closer to 50 than I am to 40. And what that means is, I mean, if I didn't get it by then, right now I should be picking it up that I need to make time for self-care. Self-care is a plethora of things. Self-care is going to sleep because you know you need to,
Mm-hmm.
right? Self-care is going to the doctors because you know you need to, right? Going and making sure you have uh, a good amount of water throughout the day. Make sure that you make it to where things are easy for you. Because they're
Yeah.
part of your self care routine. I think that when we think of self care, that's what we're thinking of. Going to get my nails done, going to get my feet done. You know what I'm saying? Going to get a massage, that's self care. Self care is your day to day practices, folks. Self care is making sure you get in that 30 minutes of intentional movement a day. Because you try sitting for hours and see how you feel.
I already know that. It don't feel
So,
good. If your butt gets sore for sick, yeah, I know what you're talking
but
about.
that's the thing. It's like, I don't think that we really think about what it means to care for yourself. You know what I mean? So, for example, what's coming up next month? Oh, the brain health fair. Lord knows, Ron is not me. I am waiting for people like I'm waiting for paint to dry. You hear me? I'm. but but anyways, brain health fair. I have that brain health fair because that's part of self care, right?
Yeah.
Taking care of your mental is self care. If you can double up on some of your activities, meaning, I said to myself, because I mean, again, as I mentioned, I've been in the car for hours and on air mattresses and not really having anywhere to really sit for a few days, several days. So my body hurt. My body hurts. It's like, you know what I'm saying? I'm out of my routine. I'm off of my diet and so forth or whatever, you know what I'm saying? so many things, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to sit in the tub. Now, I have, I mean, when people see my, they're like, oh man, this is huge. You must take baths all the time. No, I don't. No, I don't. However, I should. I should. So I said, okay, coach, it's time to take your own advice. Take care of yourself. So I got in the tub, and I soaked in there, and I was, telling my friend, I said, God dang it, I really need to do this more often.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I told him, I said, it's just that you feel like you don't have time. However, what I was saying was I didn't have time for myself,
Yeah.
right? So I want to encourage everybody. What does self-care look like to you? Actually take a look at what it looks like. What does it mean? Get out of the pretty stuff of it. You know what I'm saying? The haircuts, the okay, all of that is self-care. However, prioritizing your health is self-care. Getting your behind up out that seat and walking around because look, I don't really have a whole lot of time in a day. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to have it stacked, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I take and go to lunch, I'm gonna take eat my sandwich or so forth or whatever it is that I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna take that last 10 minutes and I'm gonna go and walk around. I'm gonna go up the steps. I'm gonna do whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't know. Your job may have a gym. You know what I mean? Maybe you need to say, all right, well, I know if I leave out this building, it's not going to get done. This is what I need to do. Yeah, I'm gonna get it done here. I'm gonna get it done at lunch, whatever. You know what I mean? But stack a habit. Maybe you feel like you don't have time to read, like get your I'm gonna say old school, turn some pages, right? But you're going to try and you said I really 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 want to get back into reading, and this is me talking to myself because I listen to audiobooks all day. Yeah, take reading a paper book. I have not read a paper book in not completed. I'm gonna say completed. I'm talking about completed. I know in a good 2 years. Been a good 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I said I really want to get back into that. My daughter, she had, she's a paperback reader, and she's, I like my audiobooks, but this paper, I'm like, I know.
Yeah.
So I have decided, because I usually get on, like the recumbent bike, and just to open up my hips. Remember, I talked about movement for mobility, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's not necessarily something I do for a workout, but I do for mobility, and I'll sit there for like 20 minutes or so forth or whatever. So I'm like, I usually am watching something, you know what I mean? I decided, well, instead of watching something, I'm going to read something because I can still hold my book if I'm on a recumbent bike. Habit stacking. So that way I get to do something that I want while doing something that I need,
Mm-hmm.
Reading, I mean, honestly, is something that we all need to do because Lord knows not enough people do it. But, and I'm not talking about books, I'm just talking about in life. Good Lord, people just read sometimes. But, anyways, and so that is one way of self care for me. That is a way that I am going to make sure that I am providing myself with self care. The bathtub. Well, I to admit. I was not doing well before. And I say before because I'm going to make it a habit going forward to one day out the week, man, sit down in the tub.
Mm-hmm.
That book, I can read that book. Now you think about it, if you're tracking, you know, I can read that whole book if I just do what I'm supposed to do. Every day, get on my bike for 20 minutes. Once a week, get in the tub. Well, I mean, I'm not a slow reader, so I've done a book in a week.
Mm.
Ty, look at it. Just saying. Habit stacking, self care, self care. My movement for mobility, right? I'm not necessarily, stressed, which is good because, as things have been happening in my world, I have been making sure that I have been moving to keep my mind.
There you go. That part.
And you know what part of if I didn't have to run up to Houston this weekend, let me tell you something. I had planned to be at karaoke on Saturday. Yes, I was. Because I know that singing and dancing is in my spirit.
Yes,
And
it
when I
is.
start doing that, that is my form of self care.
Mm.
See where I'm going with this?
Oh yeah, I see it.
We overthinking it. We're overthinking it, folks. If there is something that you know that you need to do to take care of yourself, or you joy that makes you happy, that maybe checks all of the blocks, it gets you moving, it makes you happy, you know what I'm saying? Whatever.
Yep.
Stop saying you'll have time for it because you are saying you do not have time for self care. I'm gonna dig a little deeper. I'm gonna dig a little deeper. Watch. People say, "Oh, I don't have time to go out and meet nobody." They sing. I don't got time to go out and meet nobody. Oh, really?
Go ahead and preach it. Preach it. I want to hear this.
What you saying? You want somebody. Part of self care is God did not set us to be here alone. So you are saying I don't have time for it. You don't have time to put into investment into your future happiness,
Mm-hmm.
maybe. Self care. Just saying. So I I just wanted to throw that out there because I want us to know that yes, I initially came on to talk about self care as a form of exercise, and that is making sure that you understood it was a form of exercise. However, talking to her and then thinking, like you said, reflecting on my own experience has had me thinking that I don't think that we really put thought into what self care is. That
Mm-hmm.
we limit it, as you said. We're closed minded about it. We're thinking of it only as these. Uh, I guess girl, I like now I don't want to say girl activities because let me tell you something. When I go to get my nails and stuff done, I be seeing men there getting their nails and feet done too. So I'm just gonna say
Yes.
the that is what we tend to limit it to. We tend to limit it to our superficial things, but it is our day-to-day things that also count as self-care, which are the most important things. Exercise, like I said, I you can't tell me that it does not help in so many areas. It's ridiculous. So
Mm.
many areas. So, and leading on. So I am actually working on mine, and I can't call it what I want to call it. So I'm gonna call it, call it what it is. But it's my old chick workout, and that is because I am closer to 50 than I am to 40. But what
Okay.
it is, but what it is like, um, we don't usually take time to stretch. I've talked about this time and time again. Make time to stretch. Make time to stretch. And you got to do it the right way. So, because I want you to do it the right way and I want you to keep moving, I'm working on my old chick workouts. Yes, I am. I'll be probably, I was invited to the Games Fest, so I'm gonna probably, I think it's in February, I believe, or something like that. I can't remember, but I'm going to present it, probably like in person there. But yeah,
Yeah.
coming into the new year, yeah, ladies and fellas. I guess I said and fellas just to include y'all in there. But this is my old chick workout, so y'all do what you want.
Now, Coach K, did you hear my show this morning?
No, honey, I've been working.
So you brought up something that I said this morning to the baby boomers. I said,
Mm.
when you get up in the morning, please stretch out. You need to stretch. And some of y'all haven't stretched in so long, y'all like rubber bands ready to pop. But you have to get up in the morning and stretch out. And I don't mean stretching for that cup of coffee and putting that liqueur in it. I'm talking about actually stretching out.
Dang,
And
not the liqueur.
yeah, I went there down because that's what we did back in the day. We called it liqueur. And I said, you must be able to do that. And then I mentioned that I work out. Y'all just know I was like this week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm DJing somewhere. And Coach K know my equipment. I'm working out doing that. I do my workout, I do my stretches every morning. And one thing that I do faithfully every time I go to the grocery store, I find the furthest parking space and walk all the way there. I'm not looking around to find a close parking space. I'm parking way over there, walk my butt to the store, walk my butt out there with the cart, and that's my exercise that I'm doing. It's the little things that people don't
So
see that you can do.
I'm gonna say this there, Ron. I'm sorry, my allergies are active. But anyways, I do believe in that, Ron. I do believe in getting in, your workouts where you can, parking in the back and all that. And then guess what happened, Ron? Started perimenopause. I am not walking in the sun. I'm not going to look for a close parking spot, but I'm not going to
Well,
pass up one. You hear me? I'm
yeah,
just
well,
saying.
I hear you on that. I forgot about that with Coach Cake. We were somewhere on the weekend, and she going to out in the sun, Ron? No. Now, if it's over there up under that tent, I'm going over there. And guess where it's at? Up under that tent.
Look, 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 look. Hopefully everybody is attending. I think on the 25th at Chicago Bike. They're having I guess like a business fair, so forth or whatever. So come out and meet the businesses in your community. I will be going out to support. However, I won't be set up because I won't be outside.
Yeah, this is the 25th on a Saturday, and then that Sunday we're doing the gospel brunch on the
Mm-hmm,
26th. Yeah.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So yes, yes, yes. Like you said, no. I thank you for the invitation to participate. However, I just will be stopping by. Yeah, no.
See, if you walk in there, I may play your song and sing it and give you the mic.
Hey, man, let me tell you something. I really want an MC gig. I feel like I just really, really, really need an MC gig to like complete my spirit. Like I think that will, I mean, that'll be the icing on the cake. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, a regular MC gig. Of course, I do love speaking and things or so forth. But I gotta cut up. So I need something to cut
Yes.
up. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And
Mm-hmm.
let me tell you how Coach K liked to cut up. Every once in a while, a certain word would slip, and she said, "Oh, I didn't really meant to say that. I'm sorry." I look at her. Yes, you did. You meant to
Yeah,
say that.
I just couldn't catch it
Yeah,
fast enough.
and I be looking at, and she know when she'll turn around and look at me, and I just say, "Go ahead and do your thing."
That's
It's nothing I can
why,
say.
look, guys, that's why he won't let me come and MC at the gospel brunch. Because he afraid
Woo,
of what I'm going to say. But
boy.
Jesus know my heart, Ron.
Yeah, I know. I know. I know. Everybody, like I said, with Coach K, if you get her to be your coach, you getting two things for the price of one. Not
Hmm.
only is she gonna learn how for you to stretch those muscles out, but she gonna talk about you and laugh at the same time and tell jokes.
That's right. That's right. That's right. I
So
mean, like you said, I'm a Gemini. You may catch me and I'm like, yeah, kind of laid back. You may catch me and I'm on one. So, you know. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever it is. But with an MC gig, I can turn on and be like, yes,
yeah.
let's do this. Yeah. But I do. I think that'll be good. But you know why I said that, Ron? Because I feel like for my own self care, like that's something that I need. I need to, do more of it to keep me at a certain level. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? To keep me at a certain level of peace.
Yeah.
I think that, like you said, my movement for mobility. Remember, guys, you keep hearing me say it. You keep hearing me say it. Move for mobility. It don't always have to be for weight loss. Move for mobility. But
Mm-hmm.
my movement, for mobility, that I do on my bike and adding in that reading, I think that that's going to be something that because I like to, I like to accomplish stuff,
Mm-hmm.
like everybody should. However, nothing makes me happier than to cross something off my list, to complete something I've been working on, to
Yeah.
whatever, right? So, when a goal is reached or whatever, I am happy. So, I realize that that's part of my self care. When I feel like I'm not doing that, I don't do well. I don't do well. So I am going to make sure that I do better with some of my goal setting. Some of the tasks that I do, um, and just like you said, more self care, making
Mm-hmm.
sure that I take the time, like you said, to sit in that bathtub, rehab my muscles. I move a
Mm-hmm.
lot. I'm pulling people, lifting people, supporting people, doing stuff or whatever, I
Yeah.
use my body. So, I need to make sure that I am doing the things as well. So, please know, like you said, I don't like excuses. And when I start feeling like I am giving myself more excuses than what I need, oh, you don't got to worry about me. I'll check myself.
Oh.
That's why I'm working on this
Oh.
old chick workout because I said, some days and as I pay attention to my clients and I'm looking at some of like the client I just got on off of before here, I've been working with her for 10 years.
Mm.
10 years. Today we were talking and well yesterday I cuz she's turning 50 this month. And we were talking. And I told her, I said, I remember when, because that woman could do 20, 20, 22, 24 minute plank. You hear me?
Mm.
Beast mode. Okay? She beast mode. One of like I said, you gotta have your categories. You know what I'm saying? And that was one of my beast mode ones. And so it was like all the things I like to do, I could do with her. You know what I'm saying? And it was in person at first because this was when I lived in Maryland. So she now no, we don't do all that beast mode stuff. We don't. All of the, I still do some of that shit stuff. You still going to have to, you know. It's still sorry, guys.
Yeah, that's all right. Go ahead on. Where my beeper
but
at?
but some of it, no, because why? You still have to challenge yourself.
Right.
You can't just be like, oh, I'm getting older. I can't do this. No. What we need to do is adjust and find different ways
Yes.
to accomplish the goal. You know, and if the goal is to be active, if the goal is to lose weight, if the goal is just to move better, whatever it is, figure out a different way to do it. Which is why I'm working on this old chick workout. Gotta have it.
Which I
You know
want.
what
Which I talked to somebody this past weekend who had a class reunion, and they said they were out there doing things that they did in high school. They was doing this and doing that. And when she got finished, I said, "Is that the reason why HEB called me?" So what you talking about? They said it was a shortage of Epsom salt and Bengay.
I
Because y'all went out and showed out, and y'all bought them out because y'all was sore. That's when that part comes in, soaking in the bathtub with some Epsom salt.
Honey, let me tell you, and I am an advocate. And even still, like what you were saying about like the stretching when you wake up in the morning,
Hmm.
but it's a certain way. Like I said, you just can't like you it has to you have to do it the right way for it to truly be effective. Because if you stretch the wrong, just try and just stretch cold muscles. No, that is when something pops or so forth. So,
Yes.
is making, like just making an effort to take 10 minutes or so forth, to give a little self care in the morning by, a little movement, whatever it is, you know what I mean? Um, but I do think that we need to make sure we include exercise as a form of self care.
Yes.
Looking past the, pedicures and massages, those are self care. Those are things that, are needed. I do agree. But it is definitely, like I said, exercise, good food choices.
Yes. Well, I ran
Drink
across
the
this
water.
lady who does massages, and we were talking one day. She won some tickets to one of the shows and all that stuff. I said, "So what do you do for a living?" She told me. She was telling me, I said, "Oh, that sounds pretty good." She said, "Ron, I'll set you up for a free massage, and all that stuff." I don't know about that. Why? You sounded too happy. And she said, "What do you mean by that? You plan on hurting the brother?" She said, "Oh, it doesn't hurt long. I just wait. Hold up. Time out. What you mean it doesn't hurt long? I mean, I can endure
Well,
pain.
you
I
can
could,
get different
yeah."
pressure. They'll ask you.
Yeah.
You can get a relaxation massage, but let me tell you something.
She wants a full tissue massage on me.
That's what I want. That's what
Yeah.
I like. That's what I
Okay.
like. Get in there. You
Yeah.
know, the guy
Bam.
that you know what I'm saying. Remember, well, so the guy that was at the fitness and nutrition expo back in September,
Yes.
he was really good. Definitely, I'm definitely going to holler at him. He is on my to do list because yeah, I definitely and just those couple of minutes or so forth or whatever that he did. Oh my word! I said, okay,
Mm.
man, I see you. Good
Yeah.
job. So yeah, yeah, it may hurt a little bit, Ron, but it does smooth out.
Oh, I
Or
know.
you can just tell them lessen the pressure. But I tell
Mm.
you, boy,
I
yes,
don't think this lady weigh more than $130.
it don't matter. I'm
I
telling
know,
you.
I know. See, this is funny. I told her a story. I went to get massages after an accident, and this girl must have been maybe 110 pounds. I had a knot in my shoulder. Coach K, this girl was breaking a sweat and could not remove that. She got so frustrated. She got up. She went to go get her boss. Her boss came in and said, "What's wrong?" "I can't get rid of that knot." That boss got on my back and started working and started working. I could feel it going away. She was sweating too. She said, "Oh my God, you the hardest subject that we worked on." I said, "Well, what's wrong with a little bit over there?" She said, "A little bit." I said, "Yeah, what's wrong with a little?" She couldn't do it. Well, she's really just starting. She doesn't know the techniques. And with me in her showing her, oh, so I was y'all test dummy. And she started laughing. Said, "No, you want the test dummy. But you tested us, and which was good because it was a win-win situation for them. So after my time was up, they only give you so many visits there. They asked me to come back just so they could show people how to work on that, and I got free massage for almost 6 months.
I know that's right. Look, work it,
Yeah.
work it,
So
work it.
so what you're saying is true, and people got to remember that you just can't, like, for instance, I was 45 years old. I thought I was still in good shape, and this young buck came up to me and said, "I bet I could beat you from over there to over there." I said, "Man, you don't know who you messing with over here. You don't know who you messing with." So everybody came out to see this race. They called me the old dude back then. They were young. I said, "Man, I'm gonna give you a head start if you want." Man, I don't need no head start. They said go, so I let him take off. He looked at me. What you gonna do? So I started running. I started running. I started running. I kicked it in the gear. I passed him up, and right before I got to the finish line, not one but two half strings. Poof. The next couple of days, I was so black and blue back there for pulling them hamstrings. I said, "Okay, Ron, you didn't stretch, you didn't do anything. You went out there and thought you were still young. Did I do it again? No."
No, no.
But you can't let your mind psych your body out.
Yeah. And I mean, and I think that we all are. Remember, one of my favorite theories is the Al Bundy theory, right? I
Yes.
use it all the time. And we get out here making punk high in 1970.
I ran
No,
6 touchdowns.
no, no, not happening.
Mm-mm.
Like you said, not to say that you can't do the things you mentioned, your high school reunion friend saying that they doing the things that they were doing back in high school. Well, that's great. That's great. If you're able to still, keep it like that, I say do it. Because there are some people that I honestly, I'm like, wow, how are you even, like, you must, like, have never broke anything, have never anything. Because, yeah,
Yeah.
dang, I mean, and serious, but it's a rarity.
Yeah.
It's a rarity. Usually, not to say that, you get so old that you decrepit and you're not,
Yeah.
however, you start getting older, stuff like driving, in traffic, sitting in traffic for 3 hours, 4 hours, you know what I'm saying? Gets to be a lot, sleeping on an air mattress gets to be a little challenging. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? I
Yes.
mean, it's so many components that come with aging that we have to remember that we're actually taking the time to age appropriately. And that's why, now when people ask me what I do, I am, and this is going to be my blanket response, and I'm gonna say it. I help people age appropriately. That's what I do.
I like that. I like
That's
that.
what I do. Because again, we took so I was telling my client just now, I said I was in a room full of 20-year-olds.
I feel it coming.
you know, it's one of them things where um that they don't know what they're talking about. That they are going through the figuring it out stages and so forth, and
Yeah.
as they talk about this and that, you just kind of just shake your head, but you don't shut it down, because everybody has to learn from their own experience, right? You do try and guide, in the right direction. So, with that, that's how I look at it. If I still thought the same way that those 20-year-old did,
Oh,
I wouldn't be to this age.
yes.
So again, I help people age appropriately.
Speaking about that, do you know I got banded from my hometown by some housewives?
What?
Yes. I went home years ago. I was drinking back then. So I got all my homeboys together and we went out and I bought everything we was drinking. We have a good time. Fired the pit up in the back. I always talk about old things and all that stuff. And they went home and everything. The next day, none of them was able to go to work. They was too hungover.
Oh wow.
So, so I got a phone call from one of the wives. Hey, what you call want to see you over here this evening around 6. I said, okay. So I went by there. He wasn't there. The other 5 housewives were there. And they lit into me. They have never done this before. You a bad influence on them. I said, where do you think I got it from? I got it from them back in the day. Well, this is not back in the day. So this is one day that you're going to do all this. They haven't done this in how long? I don't know. It's been like over 10 years. I said, so they did it one day, right? So let him have his fun for that one day. I apologize for what I did. But if I
Mm-hmm.
come back home again, we're going to do the same thing again.
God, let's do it again.
And she said, well, I'm not going to tell him you're coming back to town. Who says I'm going to call you and tell you I'm coming back? I'm going to let him know when I get there. Hey, meet me over here. You ain't going to know. So we did it again 4 years later. We sure did. And they didn't do as bad as drinking. Everything was fine. And then that one, his wife called me, so you back in town again? I said, yeah, okay. It wasn't that bad this time around. Thank you for listening. I said, I heard them. And I said, I'm not going to do that again out of respect for them about their
Well, you
husband.
must have brought that Mad Dog 2020 or
You know what I
something.
brought? I brought that Chevy's Rigo and that Slip Small Liquor Bull.
Oh my
Because
God.
that's what we used to drink.
I got nauseous just. Ugh.
That's what we used to drink back in the days as boys growing. That's what we would do going to parties. We get the bull, get the Chevy's
Man,
Rigo.
I'm with them. Y'all ain't young no more. You better step your game up. Bring some daggone Stella or Heineken or something
Oh
at
man,
least.
no,
Jeez.
I brought back the stuff we grew up on. Now to this day, I don't touch that stuff today.
Let me tell you. Oh my gosh. You couldn't pay me to any of that. Colt
Yeah,
45 or Boone's Farm.
Boom Farm,
Um,
Wild Irish Rose.
oh,
We call that the brick.
ugh.
Cause the bottle came in like a brick, man. Let's go get a brick.
Look,
But
and
we did
that's
it
how
though.
you
We
do.
did it back in the days. Will we do it again? Absolutely not.
No, no, no. Even, you know what, Ron, like, to extend it to your diet and what you're eating.
Mm-hmm.
You think back to some of the things that you ate during, those times when you were younger and so forth. And then you try and eat those things now. I tell the
Ooh.
story. So I'm from Baltimore, and we had this like at the carry out Chinese carry out. It was this thing called yakami, right?
Mm.
So you know what that is?
Yeah, I heard of it, but I never had the pleasure of tasting it.
Well, let me tell you, it used to hit in the day, right? So I I went at this night. It was closed by the time we when we moved back in 2015. So it must have been a visit in between there. Went home. I was like, man, I'm gonna go get me some yakini, so and so, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And we got it, and well, let's just say my stomach was not happy about the situation, right? So I was just like, what in the world? Did I eat this? Oh, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, are you kidding? Like, but the way I could not eat that like that. My when I was up there, my daughter, she said, "Mom, we're hungry. We want to stop at McDonald's. Do you want something?" And I bust out laughing. Girl, stop telling them jokes. You funny. And I said, she said, "Well, Mom," she said, "it's not." Well, she said, "But so I was like, look." I said, "Tell your friend, get his weight up." No, I don't want no goddamn on McDonald's. I'm not eating. No, no, no. So, you know, that extends, like you said, that Al Bundy theory.
Mm-hmm.
It extends also, like you said, to your diet. You
Yeah.
can't eat those things like you used to.
No.
Let's just say that even, I mean, your digestive system, has a hard time with it. Your metabolic system has a hard time with it because as we age appropriately, yes, you want to be able to still maintain a good, healthy weight. And like you said, and to move without pain and so forth
Yes.
if you can. However, it takes the right combination of things to do that. You need to figure out, tying it back into what the whole topic is about, what self-care looks like for you, not just pedicures and manicures. What does self-care look like for you? What daily physical activity can you do that you maybe like to do that helps keep you active, that
Yeah.
helps you with maintaining your healthy weight, helping
Exactly.
you with stress? What foods do you need in your diet that is going to make sure that you are, if you have health ailments, maybe helping you get rid of them, maybe not having them at all, maybe weight loss if that's what's wanted, if it's weight gain, if that's what's needed. So what does that look like for you? That is self-care, right? How many
Right.
hours of sleep do I need to be efficient? I tell you this. I tell you now, one thing that has not changed about me over the years is I don't like to be woke up. I don't care if even the alarm clock. I I prefer just to wake up on my own. I am a lot more pleasant if you allow me to do so. You
Ooh.
know,
You
just
ain't
saying.
you ain't one of those that we gotta give you a cup of coffee before you get going in the morning. You that grouchy?
I do. I don't The cup of coffee is not necessarily to get me going. However, I do need to uh, ease into my day, not jump into my day, if that makes sense. So if I am able
Yeah.
just to, even if I'm waking up with an alarm, right? In the morning, I still have to, okay, well, have that moment to lay there for a second, kind of collect my thoughts and so forth. Have
Yeah.
my moment, my devotion and so forth, and sing a song typically. So, and that doesn't include necessarily have to include coffee. So no. However, if, and in the past, I've had an ex-husband and an ex-boyfriend that has been the same. Wake up talking. Yeah, 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 yeah. Shut up. Too early for that. No,
Uh, you
I don't
know,
want to hear.
at the time, my father-in-law at the time, I was doing heating and air conditioning. It was like 8 o'clock in the morning. He was driving by, going to our next stop, and it was this person stretched out on a bench in the front, on their porch, just laying there. I said, slow down, slow down, slow down. So what you gonna do? I said, just slow down. Roll down your window, Ronald. I said, get your butt up. That dude jumped up like this. My father looked at me and said, Ronald, all he's gonna remember is this yellow van going by. You scared the crap out of me.
Mm-hmm.
So those things I like doing.
No.
I like messing with people.
Well, let me tell you something, Ron. You'd be a hurt brother messing with me, waking me up. I mean that.
I ain't
I
gonna. You
don't
already
do it.
warned me.
Don't do it. 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 It was
Okay.
this challenge I remember they used to have online talking about. It was like they would wait till their partner fell asleep and put like some Uno cards in their hand, and then wake them up talking about, babe, it's your turn. And I remember posting that on my social media. It said, "Dear future husband, don't try this. Don't try this." You know what I'm saying?
It's
Mm-mm.
just about bad putting shaving cream in the hand and twiddling their nose and
Nah,
pow.
One thing, you got to find somebody who truly understands
Yeah.
your sleeping habits. And me and him, we understand each other. None of that.
You know
None of
what?
that.
I feel you on that because some of my best sleep is when I fall asleep in my office chair. And
Mm.
then somebody can get up and I look at them, getting that look. I said, one of these punches going to hit one day. She said, what do you mean by that? You're going to start me one time. I'm going to go in defensive mode and forget who's in front of me.
Mm.
So
Mm.
you would hit me. I'm not
Mm.
saying I would hit you. It'd be out of reflex.
Right. Leave me alone.
You
Leave me
know,
alone.
after I said that, I didn't have that problem anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
even though I like messing with people, but yeah, but it comes back to you too. So I said, no, I don't think that's a good idea.
Exactly.
I don't think it's a good idea.
No,
So
no. I value sleep.
I do too.
Value sleep. So you don't have to worry. No, no. You sleep. Go ahead and sleep. Like him, he works at night, so I definitely be like, I understand, you know,
Yeah,
because people who work at night, my gosh,
I did that. I did
that's
that.
rough.
I did that grave
That
hour shift for like
that
six
is
years.
rough.
Not nice. Hey, we got. I know it's almost time for us to go, but I got one person that
Hmm.
sent in a message to you, and I think she's messing with you.
What she say?
She said, "Hey, Coach K, I got a good idea. Let's have a Boone's Farm party."
I decline.
See that? See,
I decline.
see that? I'm waiting for her to come back now. Cause she
I
messing. She
decline.
said she said. Let me put it in what she said. She said, "Well, I'm gonna mess with Coach K right now. Tell her let's
Uh,
throw a Boone's Farm party, and I'll wait to see her reactions."
Thumbs down. You
Yeah.
can uninvite me.
Shh.
Thumbs down.
See,
Uninvited.
see, they out there
No,
messing. They,
I'll uninvite myself. You ain't gotta uninvite
but
me. I'm gonna uninvite myself.
you see that they like you because they messing with you.
I'm just saying. But
Yeah.
I mean, but that's the thing. We know, we all get nostalgic, and look, I may hurt a feeling out here. It may be an outfit that you've been holding on to because you was like, girl, I used to turn heads back in the day. Yeah. Back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Get rid of it. You probably can't fit it. If you can fit it, that's what's up. Hand clap to you. But
Yeah.
is it still in style though? Does it look like it's a back in the day outfit? If you're not keeping it for a Halloween party, then let it go. But
And also, everybody, what you talking about back in the days, do not come out with that outfit and have them buttons shaking because it's too
one
tight.
of my favorite movies is Soul Man.
Oh,
And when Bernie Mac had it back, he said, "Man, the button pop up." He said, "Sorry, some tight britches."
oh yeah, that button would knock somebody out coming across the room.
Man, I tell you. But I want to say, like you said, and just going back on topic, that self care and exercise and taking the time to really do it. I'm gonna shout out Miss Veronica right this moment. I had did her before and after, And this is what I'm saying, folks. I need you to make sure that when you are setting goals, that you're not always setting a goal that's on the scale. You need to make sure that we are looking at areas of just where you can get a win. Like I said, I like to feel accomplished. So
Yeah.
let's set tangible goals. And not that this was a goal, I guess, but I just happened to notice that when I did her before and after, you could visibly see her posture was better. Now, like I said, I mean, I look for other things or so forth. I can't even tell you if I did notice it or what. I don't know. But what I noticed right away, I was like, look at her posture.
Mm.
And I think that is a huge win. As we age appropriately,
Right.
posture is very important. Very important. One of my clients, their housekeeper, she said, she said, you have such good posture. She said, you always stand so straight. And I told her, I said, one, I said, I trained myself to do this. You know what I'm saying? It was something that I had to do. One, because I had big boobs. So when I had big boobs, I mean, you are naturally hunched over because of the weight. Once I had my breast reduction, I was like, nope, gotta fix it. So I did. And that was one of the things that I noticed with Miss Veronica, that her posture was notably better, and that is
Yeah.
a huge win. Self care. She's taking the
Yeah.
time to invest in herself and do the things. Self care.
Yeah.
Self care looks like coming to see Coach K for her.
All right, family. I just want to say this was our powerhouse right here at Coach K. Want to go fit. Always bringing the fire, that wisdom, and most of all, that real talk
That's right.
to help us better take care of ourselves along with our minds and our bodies. And,
Right.
and, and Coach Kate, we really do appreciate you coming on today, and we're gonna see more of each other because we got things to do. We got
Yeah.
the brain. Oh, before you go, talk about the brain health fair.
Yeah, so the Brain Health Fair is going to be on November the 15th. We're back down at the Moed Center. Remember, it's 302 East Ramsey. And that is, like I said, just a showcase of all things mental health. So we talk about what mental illness is, how to treat it, how to identify it, ways of coping, mental health and relationships, relationships with other people, with parents, with self. We just really get into everything under your day to day. How do you maintain in your day to day? Just mentally staying focused, staying positive. We live in Veteran City. So,
Mm-hmm.
PTSD is always a topic. We got to make sure that we are, and just being honest, don't limit it to just the military, because there's a lot of people out here who have PTSD and they just don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So being able to recognize those things. One of the things that I'm working on, I'm not, like I said, waiting on, we are going to do a 10-minute brain health talk. We have Dr. Musa. She's going to come, she's
Yeah.
a neurologist.
Mm-hmm.
So she's going to come and break down some things and so forth. So more information to come on that. I do believe we're going to do, of course, meditation is always in there. I'm working on a group Reiki session if possible, and then also maybe trying to sound bowls again. Just to get different coping mechanisms and things. So, yeah, that's what it is. Of course, I'm gonna feed you. I'm gonna give you a snack or something.
Yes.
So if register if you want a snack with your name on it. Don't play now. But we are going to be at the Moed Center on the 15th of November from 10 to 2. So please do register. Like you said, these are always great conversations, bringing you resources. I actually, speaking of, definitely need to see who all I can get in the building. But I
Okay.
definitely have resources that, for mental health readily available. Counselors who have open availability will be available. So come on down, register with a bag with your name on it. Just saying.
Okay. So if you miss any part of the session today, don't worry. We have the replay on our YouTube channel, WSAN Radio SA. And most importantly, make sure you follow Coach K on all her social media on platforms because she has daily fitness, inspiration, and health tips. The last
Mm-hmm.
one you had out was veggie. You had the
Oh,
veggie.
well, this is so in September and October, we do the Fall in Love with Veggie Challenge.
Okay.
Now, that is to encourage you to eat more vegetables. We're so in the habit of grabbing a piece of fruit. However, train yourself. Remember, like you said, it just has to become a habit. Train yourself
Mm-hmm.
to grab a vegetable instead. Maybe have a green juice as a snack. I do it often.
Yeah.
That is my way to encourage everybody to eat more veggies. Fruit is easy, but eat more veggies. I thought you were going to talk about yesterday was National Dessert Day. So I posted a smoothie because most people think of smoothies as, you can do it at a milk place, so forth. I look at smoothies as like snacks because I feel like they are
Yeah.
sweet, they are, kind of dessertish. So that's what I thought you were.
Well, but that's okay. We hit every point you need to reach anyway. Cause you know what? Think about that. I think I'm gonna go get me a smoothie.
Ah.
I ran across this one lady that worked at Smoothie King across town. Now she works at the one right by the house. And I said, "Do you remember me?" "Oh yeah, I remember you. You the one with that peanut butter, banana, and all that stuff." I said, "Yeah, that's me." I said, "I'll be there one day this week." So
Mm.
she remember cause every time that I never changed from it. I kept that one right there.
You
So
gotta have your staples. And like you
yeah,
said, that, stuff like that is when people, and hear me out, folks. I know for my smoothie folks, I understand that, you feel like, all right, you wanna kind of get in your calories and so forth,
yeah.
and it's easy to drink it. I understand that, but just make sure that those smoothies have vegetables in them. If you can, add a little protein powder in them or something like that. When you are having a mainly fruit smoothie, know that that is definitely more sugar,
Sugar.
and that is more of to a dessert type of smoothie.
That means you.
If you make sure that you are aware that when you add the kale, add the spinach, add the protein powder,
Mm-hmm.
or Greek yogurt, if however you make them, or so forth. But
Yeah.
let's make sure that we're not just, oh, I'm gonna go get this banana chocolate smoothie because I'm trying to lose
Yes.
weight,
Well, that
and
was
then you trying to
yesterday.
figure out why you're not losing weight. It's
Yeah.
them smoothies.
See, she messed with me now because now I'm gonna go add
No,
now I'm gonna go add that other stuff in it. I'm gonna tell her, Coach Gabe told me to drink this.
I would like you. So you know what, Ron?
Huh?
Honestly, I would like this. You go ahead. You enjoy the smoothie that you usually get, but I do want to challenge you.
Uh oh.
I do want to challenge you
Yes.
to try one of the smoothies that has the vegetables and things in it.
I would.
Just try it
I'm gonna
one
try.
time.
I'm gonna try that today, just for you. But
Let me
for
know.
me, just for
Let
me.
me. That's right.
Did
You see,
did,
y'all, did y'all see that?
did
Did y'all
Doctor?
see how Ron practice self-care? Won't he do it? I love it.
See,
I
that's what it's
love it.
all about. Girl, we went past time, but it's always fun talking to you. and you always hit the spot. You got the people still talking about, yeah, here comes some more chiming in. Boom Farm Party sounds good. You know what? I'm going to tell them to go ahead and do it, and I'm going to bring my video camera, and I want to tape everything. I want to tape who's going to grab their stomach first and say, why did I do this?
Mm-hmm. Listen, and look, I'll come, but I ain't drinking no Boone's Farms. I'm BYOB in
Yeah, yeah. So, all right, young lady. We appreciate you taking time out coming on. You stay sweet. Love you. Keep on doing the things that you're doing.
All right, guys. Love y'all. Look, don't look. Take my jokes as jokes, but I'm serious. Have a great day.
Okay. Talk to you later. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Recording stop.
All right, everybody. That was our favorite coach, Coach K, here on WSAN Radio.